The strange signal and the Trapperdon lived alone in a small wooden cabin near the edge of a quiet forest. He was not like other people. He didn't enjoy crowds or noise. He liked silence, stars, and machines. Long ago, he was a soldier. Now, he spent his time building strange gadgets and fixing old radios. One night, while checking his old signal receiver, he heard something strange. BZZZT, ... KRRR ... ZZZZT ... C, she ... Then a voice, but not human, high-pitched, echoing, faint like it came from the stars. Raiden froze. He turned the dial slowly. The voice came again. ... ZIRRR ... help ... help ... His eyes narrowed. This was not normal. Not military, not weather, not satellite. He quickly recorded the signal and played it back. It was real. And it was calling from somewhere nearby. Raiden didn't sleep that night. The next morning, he walked deep into the forest with his tools. His instincts told him something or someone was hiding out there. Maybe it was a secret government. Drone, maybe something worse. He remembered his training. Observe, track. Trap. By sunset, Raiden had built a special trap. It looked like a normal metal cage, but it had sensors and energy coils connected to his power box. It would only trigger if something heavy, fast, and not human stepped on it. He placed the trap near an old stream where the signal felt strongest. Then he returned home. He sat with his coffee, eyes on the forest, waiting. The signal was quiet now. But the silence felt heavy. At midnight, a loud BZZZZZZZ, a P, shook the trees. Lights flashed. Birds flew away. The trap had activated. Raiden grabbed his flashlight and ran. The forest was dark. Wind rushed past his ears. He moved fast but quiet, like a shadow. His flashlight flickered as he reached the trap site. Smoke floated in the air. The energy coils buzzed. The ground was scorched. Inside, the trap. Was something glowing? Raiden stepped closer. It was a girl, but not a human girl. She had soft, silver-blue skin that shimmered under the moonlight. Her hair was white and floating like it had no weight. Her eyes, large, violet, and scared-looked. Straight into Raiden's. She was small, thin, and looked like she hadn't eaten in days. Her body was curled up in the corner of the cage. Her arms were long, with fingers like soft wires. She wore a strange bodysuit with blinking lights on. The chest, Raiden lowered his flashlight slowly. The alien girl covered her face, shaking. He whispered, ... What are you? She replied in a broken voice, please ... Don't eat me. Raiden stepped back in shock. Eat you? What? No. I'm not going to hurt you. She opened one eye, confused. You are ... Not Hunter? She asked. Raiden shook his head. No. I'm just ... me. She looked around the trap. Her voice was soft, trembling. You trapped me, like beast. I was trying to catch a machine, Raiden explained. Not coup. The girl sat up slowly. Her body was weak. She looked at her arms, then at the blinking bars of the trap. Her eyes widened. This is ... Earth. Yes. She gasped. Danger. You ... must run. They come for me. Raiden's mind raced. Who's coming? Before she could answer, a small blinking light appeared on her wristband. It beeped red. She saw it tanned, froze in fear. Raiden leaned in. What is that? They find me, she whispered. Trackers ... Hunters. Not far. She grabbed the bars and looked at him with desperate eyes. I beg, let me go, please. I do no harm. I run only. Raiden stared at her. So many questions filled his head. Where did she come from? Why was she alone? Who was hunting her? But one thing was clear. She was scared. And in that moment, Raiden didn't see an alien. He saw a lost girl, alone in a strange world, asking for help. He took a deep breath, moved to the control panel, and deactivated the trap. The cage lights dimmed, and the bars dropped with a soft hum. She stepped out slowly. Her legs were shaking. Raiden reached into his bag and handed her a protein bar. Here, food, you need it. She sniffed it, unsure. Then she took a small bite. Her eyes lit up. Double quotes, taste, ... Good, she said, surprised. Raiden gave a small smile. It's peanut butter. She looked around nervously. We must go. I close. Raiden picked up his gear. Then let's move. The two of them disappeared into the forest. One human. One alien running into the unknown. Chased by something they didn't yet understand. She speaks first, contact Raiden. And the alien girl moved quickly through the dark forest. The cold night air made the trees whisper as they ran. Behind them, the strange trap site still glowed softly, but they didn't look back. The girl's steps were weak. She stumbled often. Raiden slowed down to help, offering his hand. She looked at it for a moment, unsure. Then, slowly, she held it. Her fingers were warm. And shaking, they reached Raiden's cabin before sunrise. It was quiet and hidden under tall trees. Raiden opened the door and guided her inside. She stepped in and froze. Her wide eyes scanned everything: the books, the old computers, the small kitchen. She looked both amazed and confused. Safe, Raiden said softly. No one will find you here. She didn't speak. Instead, she walked over to a lamp and poked it gently. The light turned on. She gasped and stepped back quickly. Raiden gave a short laugh. It's just a lamp. It's not alive. She blinked. Then smiled a little. Raiden gave her water, which she drank fast, like she hadn't had any in days. He offered her food again. She took the bar, sniffed it, then ate slowly this time. She was starting to trust him, but only a little. He sat down at the table. She sat across from him. Double quotes, so ... You can speak English, he asked. She nodded. Learn ... In ship, broken, still learn. He leaned forward, curious. What's your name? She looked unsure. Name is Ziri. From Lentra? Raiden repeated it slowly. Ziri? That's nice. I'm Raiden. She tilted her head. Raiden's strange name. He laughed. Yours too. Ziri smiled just for a moment, but her face turned serious again. Her eyes scanned the room like she expected something to jump out. Raiden saw the fear in her. You said someone's hunting you, he asked. Who? Ziri hesitated. Then she touched a small device on her wrist. A faint image floated above it like a hologram. It showed a dark ship with glowing red symbols. It looked like it was made for war. Prison ship, she said. I escape. But they follow. They always follow. Raiden's eyes narrowed. Why were you in a prison? I don't know, she said quietly. I was just child. Taken, tested. I don't remember much. Raiden leaned back. He didn't fully understand, but he could see it in her eyes. She had been through something terrible. She wasn't lying. He looked at her wrist device. That thing. It's still sending a signal, isn't it? Siri. Looked at it with fear. Yes, small pulse. Hidden, but they will find. Raiden stood up quickly. Then, we'll take it off. Ziri pulled her arm back. No, if removed, wrong. It burns inside. Kills fast. Raiden paused. So we can't cut it off. She shook her head. He began pacing. Then we have to block the signal. Hide it somehow. Ziri watched him. You ... are strange. He stopped. What? You do not run. You do not sell me. You ... help. Raiden looked her in the eyes. Because you needed help. That's what humans should do. Ziri looked down. Not all. Do that. Outside, morning sunlight broke through the trees. But inside, it was still tense. Raiden worked at his desk, pulling wires and metal pieces from drawers. He was building something fast, a jammer. If he could create a strong enough signal, maybe he could hide her location. At least for now. Ziri sat quietly, watching. You were a warrior? She asked suddenly. Raiden paused. Soldier, yes. Long time ago. Why stop? He thought for a second. I saw too much. Lost good people. I wanted peace. Ziri nodded slowly. Same. Raiden looked up. You were a soldier too. She didn't answer, but he saw the way her hand gently touched her wristband again. Her past was written in silence. Hours passed. By afternoon, the jammer was ready. A small silver box with blinking lights. Raiden turned it on. It buzzed gently. Signal is covered now, he said. They won't find you, at least not today. Ziri touched the box with wide eyes. You make this ... fast. Raiden smiled. I told you, I build things. That's what I do. Suddenly, her wristband blinked once, then stopped. Zir, I gasped. They ... lost me. Raiden nodded. Good. That gives us time. But just then, they heard something outside. A low hum in the distance. A flying sound. Raiden moved to the window. He saw a strange shadow in the sky. Round, fast, and not human. Ziri's eyes widened. They ... still search. Many eyes. Many ships. Raiden stepped back from the window. Then we'll need more than traps next time. Ziri looked at him. Afraid? I bring danger. You should send me away. Raiden shook his head. I already opened the door. I'm not closing it now. Hunter becomes the hunted. Night returned to the forest. But it did not bring peace. Ziri sat near the window of Raiden's cabin, staring up at the stars. Her violet eyes shimmered with quiet sadness. Somewhere out there, her home was waiting. But she didn't know if she would ever see it again. Raiden was in the workshop area, sharpening a metal rod. His mind was spinning with plans. The trap had worked once. But now, things were different. They were no longer hunting. They were being hunted. Raiden came over and placed a small sensor on the windowsill. If anything moves outside, this will blink. Ziri didn't speak. He sat beside her, handing her a cup of warm tea. She sipped it slowly. I never asked, Raiden said after a moment. What do they want with you? Why are they chasing you like this? Ziri didn't answer right away. She looked at her hand, her skin glowing slightly under the light. They want what I carry inside, she said at last. Raiden frowned. What do you mean? Ziri touched her chest gently. I was born special. Not weapon, not machine. But my blood, ... my mind. They can use it for war. Raiden's eyes widened. Like biotech, she nodded. My people are peaceful. But others, ... not all. Some take, some build armies. Raiden leaned forward. So, they were turning you into a weapon. I escaped before the final stage, she whispered. But now, they want me back, dead or alive. Raiden stood up and began checking his supplies. He had old military gear still packed, still ready. A part of him never truly left the battlefield. He opened a box and pulled out a long black case. Inside was a compact rifle, not alien, just human steel. Ziri looked worried. You fight them? Raiden loaded the weapon. They come here, I don't have a choice. They are many. They don't feel fear. Raiden looked her in the eyes. That's okay. I've fought things without fear before. I just need one reason to stand my ground. Ziri looked down. She understood. She was that reason now. A sharp beep broke the silence. The window sensor blinked red. Raiden froze. He turned off the cabin lights and picked up his night vision goggles. Ziri crouched low near the wall. Outside, the forest looked quiet, but something moved in the trees. A flicker, a shadow. Not an animal, not a drone. Raiden whispered, one scout. Just one. Ziri looked at him. More will come. He nodded. We can't wait. They slipped out the back, using a hidden trail Raiden had prepared long ago. His training told him not to fight at home. Never make your shelter your battlefield. They moved fast, quiet, deeper into the woods. Raiden led her to an old lumber yard, long abandoned and covered in rust and vines. There were storage rooms, broken fences, and thick shadows perfect for setting traps. He handed Ziri a small device. Stay in the office, second floor. Watch from the window. If anything goes wrong, press this red button. It calls me. Z took it with shaky hands. You'll be okay? Raiden smiled. I've been through worse. As darkness thickened, Raiden moved like a ghost between the buildings. T planted homemade trap spike pits, tripwires, flashbangs. His mind was calm, focused. But then, a low hum filled the air. Raiden looked up. A small alien drone hovered above the trees. It's red. I blinked, scanning the area suddenly. It turned. It saw him. Alert human contact. Class 7 threat detected. Cursed under his breath and fired. The bullet hit dead center, and the drone exploded mid-air. But it was too late. They know, Ziri said over the comm. Raiden ran. Moments later, the air cracked open. A strange silver ship dropped from the clouds, like a knife through water. It hovered above the yard, its lights scanning. Engine silent. Raiden dived behind a crate just in time. From the ship, something dropped. Tall, armored, with a helmet shaped like a skull, and glowing blue veins. The bounty hunter, it moved slowly, scanning with a weapon in hand. Not fast, not loud, but deadly. Raiden whispered, one of them, ... here already. Ziri spoke through the comm, voice shaking. That's not just any hunter. That is Varric. He never misses. Raiden adjusted his rifle. Let's test that today. The hunter stepped into a trap zone. A tripwire snapped, and 3 spike bombs exploded in a flash. Smoke, fire, silence, but when it cleared, ... Varric still stood. Armor cracked, but alive. He turned toward Raiden's hiding spot. Raiden fired. Once, twice, the bullets hit, but bounced off. Varric raised his arm and fired a plasma shot. Boom. The crate exploded. Raiden rolled out, coughing, bleeding from his arm. Ziri screamed into the comm, Raiden, I'm okay. He yelled, Raiden, pulled out his last Carta homemade EMP. He pressed the button and threw it. Flash boom. The hunter staggered. His systems blinked wildly. Couldn't move. Raiden didn't wait. He ran to the office where Ziri was hiding. Inside, Ziri ran to him. You're hurt. Raiden smiled through the pain. Just a scratch. Ziri touched his wound. A soft light glowed from her hand. The pain eased. Raiden stared in surprise. You can heal. She nodded. A little. He grabbed her hand. We have to move. That hunter isn't dead. And next time, he won't be alone. Ziri looked outside. Smoke rose into the night sky. "They're coming," she said softly. Raiden nodded. "Then we stop running. We fight back. Traps, trust, and trouble." The forest was silent again, but not safe. Raiden and Ziri had escaped the bounty hunter, but barely. His arm was bandaged now, still sore from the plasma blast. Ziri's gentle touch had stopped the bleeding, but not the danger. They had left the cabin behind. Raiden knew it was no longer safe. The alien drones had scanned the area. If they returned, they'd burn it down or worse. Instead, he led Ziri to an old, broken-down factory hidden miles from the town. Metal walls, rusted stairs, forgotten machines. It was ugly. But it was shelter. "This place smells like dead machines," Ziri said, wrinkling her nose. Raiden laughed. "Better than being hunted in the open." Inside, they set up a new base. Raiden worked on security. He planted motion sensors, tripwires, and homemade smoke bombs around the area. His fingers were fast. His mind sharper than ever. Ziri tried to help. She watched him closely, bringing him tools and asking questions. "What's this?" she asked, holding a screwdriver backwards. "That's not a snack," Raiden said, grinning. "It turns screws." Raiden showed her these little metal things. "We twist them in. Not everything on Earth is made with plasma and light." Ziri tilted her head. "Your world is ... simple, but clever." He smiled. "Thanks. I guess we try harder when we have less." At night, they sat together on the cold concrete floor. Sharing energy bars and water. Zir, I looked up at the broken ceiling, where the stars peeked through. "Where I come from," she said softly, "we have 2 moons. One is red, one is gold. The sky always glows, even at night." Raiden looked up too. "Sounds beautiful." It was, before the war. He glanced at her. "You miss it?" Ziri nodded. "I miss feeling safe." There was a long silence. Then, she asked, "Do you ever miss someone?" Raiden looked down. His voice dropped. "Yeah, my brother. He died in a war that made no sense." Ziri didn't speak, but she understood. Pain was a language shared across all stars. Later that night, a loud snap echoed outside. Raiden stood up fast. "Trap's been triggered." Ziri followed. "What is it?" "Another hunter." Raiden checked the monitor. No heat signature, but something moved. He grabbed his rifle. "Stay behind me." They moved outside, stepping carefully across the old factory yard. The trap was still humming inside it. Something small thrashed. Raiden blinked. It was a raccoon. Ziri gasped. "What is that thing? It looks like a thief." Raiden laughed. "It kind of is. We call it a raccoon. Harmless." Ziri stared as the creature hissed at her. She backed up. "It hates me." Raiden reset the trap and let the raccoon go. It ran into the woods. "Not everything that moves is deadly," he said. Ziri gave him a small smile. "But some things are." Hours passed. Ziri wandered into one of the old control rooms. Dusty buttons and broken screens filled the walls. She found a mirror and stared at her reflection. Her silver blue skin, her alien eyes, her glowing veins. She whispered, "I don't belong here." Raiden entered the room. "What are you doing?" She turned. "Why are you helping me?" He paused, then said, "Because you were in a cage, and I've been in one too. Not metal, but inside. Guilt, loss, fear. I know what that feels like." Ziri lowered her head. "If you help me, they will hurt you." Raiden stepped closer. "I've been hurt before, but this time, it means something." Suddenly, a loud click echoed through the factory. Ziri froze. Raiden raised his weapon. "That wasn't one of my traps." They moved quickly to the north hallway. There, lying on the ground, was a small black sphere. It blinked red. Raiden's eyes widened. Drone bomb. He grabbed Ziri and pushed her behind a steel beam just before it exploded. Boom. Dust and smoke filled the air. Raiden coughed. Ziri checked his face. "You okay?" He nodded. "They found us again." Ziri looked around. "I don't see them." "Why bomb us and leave?" Raiden picked up a piece of the broken drone. It had a small camera inside. "They weren't trying to kill us," he said. "Just watching. Testing our defense." Ziri's face went pale. "They're playing a game." Raiden stood. Then, "Let's change the rules." He spent the next hour building something new. A decoy heat mimic dummy shaped like a human. It would appear like Ziri on thermal scans. Next to it, he placed an explosive trap. "If they come again," he said, "they'll aim for this." Ziri helped him place it in the open yard. Then she whispered, "Raiden, what if we don't win?" He paused. "Then we make sure they remember who they messed with." Ziri smiled just a little. "That sounds like something a warrior would say." Raiden shrugged. "Maybe I'm becoming one again." That night, the factory was quiet again, but the silence was heavier. Now, the traps were armed. The shadows watched, and far above, hidden behind the clouds, ships circled like hungry wolves. Inside the metal walls, one human and one alien sat side by side, not safe, but together, and ready for whatever came next. The ambush the factory had gone too quiet. Raiden didn't like it. Quiet meant someone was waiting. He stood on the roof, looking through his binoculars. The sky was cloudy, but he could still hear the distant hum of something circling. Not a plane, not a bird. Something watching below. Ziri moved quietly through the old hallways. She had learned how to reload the traps, check sensors, and even fix a few broken wires. She was fast now, focused. She wasn't just hiding anymore. She was preparing, inside. The control room, Raiden checked the radar device he had built. It was small, but strong. If anything flew nearby, it would beep tonight. It didn't beep. That made Raiden more nervous. He turned to Ziri. "Too quiet, too still. I don't trust it." Ziri looked up. "Maybe they gave up." Raiden shook his head. "They're not the type." She paused. Then, "It means they planned something big." "Exactly," Raiden replied. "An ambush." Later that evening, Ziri sat near a broken window, staring at the stars. They didn't shine the same way here. They were colder, less alive, she whispered. "If I die here, will my people even know?" Raiden walked in with 2 cups of hot water. "No one's dying. Not tonight." She took the cup and smiled weakly. "You always say that. And I'm still right, aren't I?" he replied. For a few moments, they sat in silence. Then Raiden asked, "What were you?" Before all this, Ziri thought. "A student, I studied light. Energy waves. I wanted to build things that made life better." Raiden raised an eyebrow. "Like a scientist." She nodded. "Yes. But now, I build traps with you." He chuckled. "Life's funny like that." Just before midnight, the alarm triggered. Red light, north fence breached. Raiden jumped to his feet. "They're here." Ziri moved fast. "How many?" He checked the scanner. 3 heat signatures. 1 small ship above. Ziri's voice shook. "Scouts, they test again." Raiden loaded his weapon. "Let's give them answers." Outside, shadows crept across the yard. One alien stepped forward, slim, fast, armor dark as smoke, a long weapon on his back. Another followed, larger, glowing eyes, fingers like blades. The third moved differently, quiet, careful, watching. Ziri whispered from the second floor. "Eyes on them. That one's the leader." Raiden crouched by the decoy trap. Good. Let's take the leader first. The leader scanned the area. He paused at the heat signature. Ziri's decoy. He raised his weapon. Click. The ground exploded. Boom. The shockwave lit the night sky. 2 scouts were thrown back. The leader's armor sparked. Raiden moved fast. He fired 2 clean shots. 1 alien dropped, but then bzzz. Zap. A bolt of energy struck near Raiden's leg. He fell behind a steel beam. Ziri saw it all. She gasped and ran down to the lower floor. She pressed her hand to the wall. A wave of energy spread from her palm. Magnetic pulses shook the machines. Old lights turned on. A strange hum echoed. Raiden yelled from cover, "Ziri, what are you doing?" she shouted back, changing the rules. The remaining scout found her. He moved fast, jumped through the broken window, aiming a blade straight at her. Ziri raised her hand. "FW woo." Ohm. A sudden wave of gravity burst from her palm. The alien slammed into the wall and dropped. Raiden stared in shock. "You didn't tell me you could do that." Ziri looked at her hand. "I didn't know I could." She was shaking, breathing hard. Raiden ran to her side. "Are you okay?" "I used too much," she whispered, falling to her knees. He caught her. Behind them, the leader still stood limping, but alive. His mask cracked, his eyes glowing with hate. He aimed his weapon at Raiden. Raiden turned, shielding Ziri. The trigger clicked, but no shot came. Instead, a loud howl tore through the air. From the trees, something massive jumped. A wild animal? No, it was a government drone. Not Raiden's. It slammed into the alien, biting into his armor, sparks flying. Behind it, a black jeep screeched into the yard. A soldier stepped out, aiming his rifle. Raiden's eyes widened. "Reese?" The soldier nodded. "You called for backup." Came. The soldier's team moved fast, clearing the area. The last alien fell. Raiden carried Ziri to safety. She was still awake, but weak. Her glow was dimming. Reese stepped over. "She's the one, huh?" Raiden nodded. "She's not a threat," he said firmly. "She's not like them." Reese stared for a long moment, then sighed. "That's not my call anymore, but I'll buy you some time." Raiden frowned. "Time for what?" Reese handed him a small alien device glowing blue. "Found this inside the scout ship. Looks like a jump key. Might be her only way out." Later. Inside the factory, Ziri rested on a cot. Her breathing was slow but steady. Raiden sat beside her, holding the jump key. She opened her eyes weakly. "What's that?" she asked. Raiden showed her your way out. Her eyes filled with tears. "You found it." He nodded. "You won't have to run forever." Ziri closed her eyes and whispered, "Thank you, Raiden, for everything." Raiden took her hand. "You're not done yet," he said softly. "You still have a world to go back to." A secret Delta factory was quiet again, but only on the surface. Inside, tension filled the air. Ziri lay on a small cot, still weak from using her power. Her silver-blue skin had lost some glow, and her eyes barely stayed open. Raiden stood nearby, staring at the alien jump key Reese had given him. It pulsed softly in his hand. Blue light ticking like a heartbeat. This could save her, but not without a price. Outside, Reese leaned against his black jeep, arms crossed, watching the sky. His team had cleared out the alien bodies, hidden the crash site, and jammed all radio signals for miles. Raiden walked over. Reese didn't look at him. "You're lucky I came." Raiden nodded. "Thanks. I mean it." Reese lit a cigarette. "That alien girl's eerie. She's not just some lost traveler, is she?" Raiden stayed silent. Reese turned his head slowly. You know what the government would do if they got her? I know, Raiden said. That's why they can't. Reese took a long drag. You trust her? Yes. Even after what? She is. Raiden looked him in the eyes, especially because of it. Reese let out a dry laugh. You always had a soft spot for lost causes. Back inside, Ziri woke up slowly. Her vision was blurry. But she saw Raiden sitting near her, still holding the jump key. She whispered, "That is for me." He nodded. It's a one-time portal. A short jump, enough to get you out of Earth's range. But you'll need to set the target. Ziri blinked. I don't know where to go. Home is too far. Raiden paused. Then go somewhere they can't find you. She shook her head. I can't leave you. You have to, he said quietly. You stay here, they'll come again. And next time, I might not survive. Her hand reached for his. But I feel safe. When I'm with you, Raiden didn't answer. His hand tightened around hers. Later, that night, while Ziri rested, Raiden walked into a side room and pulled out a hidden radio device. It was small and old, but still working. He turned it on, changed the frequency, and whispered into the mic. Unit 4, this is Ghost. A crackle. Then a voice replied. Ghost. Thought you disappeared. I need a favor, Raiden said. I have something? Something. Not from Earth. Alien? Yes. But not a threat. The voice paused. You know the rules. Not turning her in, Raiden said firmly. I need a cloaking chip and energy core. Just 2 parts. That's rare tech, the voice said. Government tracks that stuff. I'll trade something. What? Raiden took a breath. Coordinates to a downed alien scout ship. Full tech inside, still untouched. There was silence. Then, deal, meet me at the Canyon Road. 1 hour. Raiden turned off the radio. Exactly 1 hour later, Raiden stood on the Canyon Road, fog all around. An unmarked van rolled in. The back opened. A man in a gray coat stepped out, holding a small case. Your parts, he said. Raiden tossed him a piece of paper. Coordinates. It's all there. The man nodded. You're risking everything for this alien. Raiden stared. At him. You'd do the same if you saw what I've seen. The man shrugged. No, I wouldn't. Back at the factory, Ziri was sitting up now. Her glow was returning, just a little. She smiled as Raiden entered. You came back? She said softly. Of course, he replied, holding up the chip and core. We're building your escape. They worked together through the night. Ziri explained how to open the beacon's panel. Raiden fitted in the cloaking chip. The core slid into place. When it powered up, the beacon created a low humming sound, like a soft song from the stars. It's working, Ziri whispered. Raiden looked at her. It's ready. But neither of them smiled, because it also meant goodbye, outside. The air shifted again. Reese stood near the truck, staring at a glowing screen. One of his men ran up. Sir, government agents, coming fast, 3 minutes out. Reese clenched. His jaw, he pulled out his earpiece. Raiden, we have a problem. Raiden answered. They traced you. I think they traced the scout ship. The people I made disappear, ... didn't stay gone. Raiden cursed. You bought us time. That's all I needed. Reese paused. I'll stall them, but you need to go. Now. Inside the factory, Raiden opened the beacon's shield. Ziri stood beside him, holding a small pack of data crystals. This is all I carry from my world, she said. Memories? Raiden nodded. You'll make new ones. She looked up. You won't come. Raiden hesitated. Then he stepped forward and gently placed a hand on the beacon. I've made a deal. If I vanish too, they'll keep hunting. But if I stay, they'll stop. Maybe. Ziri's voice broke. But I want you with me. He gave her a soft smile. And I want you safe. Footsteps echoed outside, doors opening. Agents yelling. Guns ready. Raiden turned to her. Now, Ziri, go. She stepped into the light. The beacon began to spin faster. She looked back, tears glowing on her cheeks. I'll find a way back, I promise. Raiden nodded. The light flashed, and Ziri vanished. The door crashed open. Government agents rushed in with rifles raised, but the alien girl was gone. Only Raiden remained alone. The final escaper Raiden sat on the cold floor of the factory. The beacon light was gone. Ziri was gone. Outside, government agents swarmed the yard, boots thudding, radios crackling, weapons drawn. A man in a black coat walked. In his face was hard, his voice cold. Where is the alien? Raiden didn't answer. The man stepped closer. We know she was here. There are traces of energy all over this place. Raiden just looked him in the eye. Too late. The agent stared back, unmoved. You're going to prison. Maybe worse. Raiden smiled slightly. As long as she's free, I can live with that. They cuffed him, dragged him out, and pushed him into the back of a transport truck. No questions. No trial, just silence. Raiden sat with his head against the wall. His mind wasn't on the present, it was in the stars. 6 days later, Ziri floated in a small space pod, drifting far from Earth's orbit. The beacon had dropped her in deep space unknown. Cold, but free. She powered the pod's weak engine and followed an old signal from a friendly satellite. It was risky, but it worked now. She was hiding on a moon base once used by explorers. Quiet, empty. Hers for now. She looked at the blue planet in the distance. Earth, her. Heart ached. She replayed Raiden's last words in her head. You'll make new memories. But one memory refused to leave him. Zir, I was safe. But she wasn't free. Not really. Because Raiden had given up everything for her. And she couldn't forget. Back on Earth, 1 week later, Raiden sat alone in a gray cell. Deep underground. No windows. No clock. No noise. They wanted to break him, but they couldn't. He had something stronger than fear. He had purpose, each night. He closed his eyes and remembered the stars. Her voice, her strange smile. The way she looked at peanut butter like it was magic. He never regretted helping her then. One night, everything changed. An alarm blared through the prison. Red lights flashed, doors locked, guards shouted, but not in. Fear and confusion. The power went out for exactly 6 seconds. And in those 6 seconds, ... Raiden. Single quotes, S, cell door. Clicked. He stood slowly. Something was wrong, ... Something was right. Outside the door, a small floating drone hovered. It was sleek, silver, humming softly. Not human-made. A soft voice came from it. Raiden, he froze. That voice, Ziri. He whispered. The drone responded. I told you I'd find a way. The drone zipped ahead, guiding him through dark hallways. Security systems glitched. Doors opened. Raiden moved fast, heart pounding. How did you later? Ziri said. I had help. He turned a corner and saw something unbelievable. An alien shuttle hovering in the prison yard. Cloaked, silent, waiting. Raiden laughed. Under his breath, you crazy girl. I learned from you, she replied. Inside the shuttle, everything was clean and glowing. Ziri's voice came from the console. I couldn't land myself, she said. But the ship listens to me now. Raiden sat in the pilot seat. You hacked a ship and broke me out of a black site prison. Your world isn't as complicated as it thinks, she said proudly. Remind me never to make you mad. The shuttle blasted off, silent and fast. In minutes, they were in orbit. Then, it vanished. Cloak active, no one on Earth would ever trace it. Hours later, aboard Ziri's Hideo stepped onto the moon base floor. Low gravity, clean air. Artificial sunlight. Ziri was waiting. She looked tired but happy. He walked up slowly. She opened her arms. He didn't hesitate. They held each other for a long time. She whispered, "You came." He smiled. "You've got me out." She stepped back. "I made a promise." So did I. They stood there, two survivors from two worlds, no longer hunted, no longer hiding, just free together. Weeks passed. Raiden fixed machines. Yi built communication towers. Together, they turned the lonely moon base into a home. No orders, no war, no fear. Just peace. One night, Ziri stood beside him, watching the stars. Raiden. "Yeah, if I asked you to come with me farther, to my world." "You." He looked at her, eyes soft. "Anywhere."